good stories, and that's why they become good movies.
Mm-hmm. But that's all the time we have for today, guys. We'll be back next week with another episode of Beyond the Credits. Hey guys, welcome back to Beyond the Credits, where we discuss everything on the big screen. I'm your host, Reagan. Let's get right into the news. Netflix has decided to buy another film straight from the studio for distribution. After the surprise release of The Cloverfield Paradox, which was purchased from Paramount, Universal has also sold a sci-fi thriller to Netflix. Extinction, starring Michael Pena and Lizzie Kappelman.
As we debate multiple topics regarding college football and the NFL. Stay with us, guys.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
Do you like sports? Do you like reading about sports? Then we got a sports blog just for you. Stay on my peripherals. That's not fun. Hitting the field.
The first student-run sports blog.
For sports fans.
By sports fans.
See, it's all about the product shot.
Where do you want me to stand?
Don't talk though. I want them to see the hole.
Hitting the field. We cover football. We cover basketball. And so much more. He's out.
By sports reporters. And Meech.
What up? Watch the show and read the sports blog. Hitting.
Field.
Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today. Today, when you have multiple devices at your fingertips, wouldn't it be great if you could run the software you need on all of them? Well, now you can. UCF Apps is a new and innovative way for you to access the applications that you need to get your coursework done from any PC, Mac, tablet, or smartphone. For more information or to give your input on UCF Apps, go to apps.ucf.edu. What are you waiting for? Start using UCF Apps today.
We have a 1-minute commercial in between.
Okay.
It's whatever.
No, I didn't know if we were doing one before the night vision.
Right. Welcome back to Hitting the Field. I am here to talk some more college football with Jeremy Brener and Jaret Kappelman. Gentlemen, welcome back to the show. How are the two of you guys doing?
I'm doing well, you know. Been a great weekend of sports so far, and I'm excited to be back here on Hitting the Field Season 7, and yeah.
Awesome. Jeremy?
It's always a good day when you're in the studio, man. That's what I gotta say.
I feel you, man.
Yep.
I feel you. All right, so without further ado, let's get into the debate. This past weekend may not have been the most eventful, but we did have some surprises. Clemson escaped defeat with a win over Texas A&M, Michigan State lost to Arizona State, and Florida lost to Kentucky at home for the first time since 1986. Jaret, what stood out to you over the weekend?
Obviously, you got to capitalize the 31-game win streak to Kentucky, Florida throwing that one out the window. They just didn't play their game at all. They threw more than they ran the ball, which should never happen in a UF system, especially with Felipe Franks as your quarterback. That man cannot throw the football. He should not be throwing 38 times a game. And then, really, I think that was like my highlight of the weekend.
No, it's crazy to see how like college football in general in Florida is just flipping over basically. How FSU and UF are really struggling this season. Jeremy?
I'm surprised about how A&M played very well against Clemson. I know it was at home, it was at Kyle Field, but Jimbo Fisher really prepared his team for Clemson this weekend. And even though they ended up on the wrong side of the result, I think that was one of the more impressive feats over the weekend. They could have won that game. They could have very easily won that game. There was the ball that was called the touchback. Shouldn't have been called the touchback. It was out at the one, not at the goal line. But then you also had a 2-point conversion they could have easily converted, and then they ended up not doing it. They lose by 2. So I think that Clemson might not be as indestructible or unbeatable as we think they might be.
No, I agree. All right. So a lot of teams have disappointed so far this season. Florida State doesn't look like themselves. Miami failed to show up against LSU, and teams are already eliminating themselves from the college football playoff before the season really truly begins. Jeremy, who is the biggest disappointment so far, do you believe?
The Noles, the Florida State Seminoles, they do not look good at all. I'm sorry. You come out the first week, Monday Night Football in front of the whole country, and you literally lay an egg. They looked awful. I'm sorry. Kyle Briley, I'm sorry, but they looked bad. And we're just saying that because, you know, Florida State had so much high expectations on themselves. They were a top 20 team. They were, you know, they had this like new era. It's like, oh, we're beyond the Jimbo Fisher era. It's the Willie Taggart era. Let's do it. And then they come out and they do that against Virginia Tech, who is a very good opponent. Let's not kid ourselves here. Virginia Tech was good, but they could not get any offense running at all. They were, and as soon as they would like get something going, it would be like some silly turnover inside the red zone. So then you bring that up with, you get Samford, which is one of their FCS opponents, and they were trailing at halftime. So, like, in my opinion, that's 2 poor showings in 2 weeks, and Florida State has so many high expectations on them because of their reputation. Let's talk about it, the reputations for a minute. Reputations is exactly what the college football playoff or the AP poll has going for itself. That's why Miami was ranked. That's why Florida State was ranked. That's what teams have been going at right now.
It's the tradition of just like these reputations, and then they don't end up actually playing out very
because
well.
they're not good anymore.
It's just they can't. It's the whole college football scene is really starting to flip in general.
Exactly.
So, Jaret, what do you have to say?
Probably my biggest disappointment so far, I'm going to have to go with UCLA. You know, Chip Kelly's return to college football, this whole, you know, oh, he's going to bring this, the Oregon style back, all this. They've looked like absolute trash. I mean, I kind of forgot Chip Kelly was back in college football because no one's been talking about him.
Really been very, very relevant.
He got blown out week 1, week 2, still lost. It was a little closer. Also, I got to say, Nebraska, kind of disappointed. You know, all this hype, Scott Frost, return back home. You get rained out week 1, week 2, you know, you've had an extra week for a game plan. Players are healthy, everything. And you lose at home to Colorado by 5. I mean, that's all the hype around Scott Frost, you know, 13-0 national champions at UCF, goes back home. It's kind of disappointing to me as, you know, as a Knight to see Scott Frost lose that in like in a game where I don't think.
Yeah, no, it's difficult to see because I mean it could be similar though to what had happened with when he first came here to UCF. So who knows? It might just take him another season, but you know, it definitely was a disappointment comparatively to what he managed to do here last season. Yeah. So we have a lot of disappointments, but we also have a lot of new faces in new places. Chip Kelly is at the helm at UCLA, like we said. Herm Edwards joined Arizona State as their head coach, and Nebraska poached Scott Frost from UCF. And the Knights have Josh Heupel at the top, to name a few. Jaret, which new hire is performing the best?
I would have to say Herm Edwards at Arizona State. Already knocked off top opponent in Michigan State, and week 1, they believe they beat Cal, was it? But they've put themselves in the top 25. Putting the Pac-12 on the map, which the Pac-12 has always been that team every year that we're like, will they even be a team to make the playoffs, you know? There aren't that many good teams. It's just all offense, no defense, you know? So I think Herm is trying to bring that, you know, the big name back to the Pac-12 because we clearly saw Chip Kelly's not going to do that because that they're already done. Their season's already over. So I would have to say Arizona State, very impressive, you know. Second game of the season, you go down and drive down the field and kick a game-winning field goals. The clock expires against 15th-ranked Michigan State. Okay. I really like that from Arizona State.
Awesome. Jeremy?
I'm going to go with an answer that's not super far away. Josh Heupel. He's our guy at UCF. And like Ant said, you know, maybe this 38-0 win against South Carolina State might not be super impressive at the end of the day, but a win's a win. A shutout's a shutout. They haven't allowed a lot of points. They're doing super strong on defense. That offense looks quicker than last year, which is hard to possibly do. So I like what Josh Heupel's got going on with the Knights. I think he's doing a good job so far.
Awesome. All right, so guys, real quick, the Heisman Trophy will be handed out in December, but it is not too early to name some candidates. Several players around the country are building their campaigns early. Jeremy, Who are some players people should watch out for? Give me one name.
The quarterback on the best team in the country is Tua. Got to be Tua.
Got to be Tua. Has to be.
We agreed on something.
Got an agreement there. All right, here we go. Well, thank you guys for your insight on the CFB season. After the break, we are going to transition into topics regarding the National Football League. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Do you like sports? Do you like reading about sports? Then we got a sports blog just for you. Stay on my peripherals. That's not fun. Hitting the field.
The first student-run sports blog.
For sports fans.
By sports fans.
See, it's all about the product shot.
Where do you want me to stand?
Don't talk though. I want them to see the hole.
Hitting the field. We cover football. We cover basketball. And so much more.
He's out. By sports reporters and Meech.
What up? Watch the show and read the sports blog. Hitting
the field.
Welcome back to Hitting the Field. I'm here with Jeremy Brener still and Jaret Kappelman to talk some NFL. The NFL started its 2018 campaign yesterday. There are still 2 games airing tonight, but what is your main takeaway from Week 1 action? Jeremy, get us started.
How about the Buccaneers, man? Can you believe we're talking about Week 1 hitting the field, about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers dropping 48 points on the Saints?
Fitzpatrick doesn't want to leave.
Look, and the Saints, like, we were talking, you know, the Saints have a history of having terrible defenses, but that defense, like, picked up its act last year. And that they're bringing back a lot of those same guys. That's a good defense still. And the Buccaneers, led by Ryan Fitzpatrick, Harvard graduate Ryan Fitzpatrick, 48 points in New Orleans. That's not easy to do. Props to them.
No, it's amazing being able to put up against someone like that, like Drew Brees, who is 100% already Hall of Fame talent.
Absolutely.
So, Jaret, what do you have to say?
The GOAT right now, Aaron Rodgers, 100%. That was, if you didn't watch last night's game, what were you doing? 17-0 at halftime. This man got carted off the field, like looked emotionally distraught, comes back out, second half, walks out the tunnel. Next thing you know, fourth quarter, they're down 17. You blink, they're up by 1, win the game. I've never seen some like perfect throws in my life, and this man's playing on one leg.
It's called poise. It's really, it's just insane what he's able to do, especially after not being able to play as much last season. And I'm excited to see what the Packers are going to be able to do.
He is their team. This year.
It showed. It showed. Kaiser got destroyed, and then Rodgers comes back, brand new team.
Yep. So Jaret's Eagles began defending their title on Thursday with a win over the Falcons. But what stood out the most from that game was the whopping 26 penalties. Many rules have changed that have put a lot more yellow on the field. Jaret, what are your thoughts on these penalty changes?
I hate a lot of them. There was one in the Eagles-Falcons game that started off when the Eagles actually got a call in their favor when someone, I don't remember who was, sacked Nick Foles, but he threw his body weight on top of him, so it was roughing the passer. Like, I didn't even like that. Just as a football fan, I'm like, we get a 15-yard penalty, cool, first down, but all he did was just tackle him, but he, quote, threw his body weight on him. I think it's stupid, this whole, like, oh, we're doing this to protect the players. We're not really protecting the players, though, because now they're trying to think they're going to try to do something that they're not used to, and then they're going to hurt themselves.
No, I understand making all for safety and everything, making the helmets better, making the equipment all better, and making sure that plays don't end out just causing an extensive injury to anyone. But if you're literally taking away the part of the game, which is tackle football, just give it flags so that we can all understand that we don't want to watch this anymore. I want to watch it, but I can't bear to see what they're doing, like especially comparatively to the days that like Mean Joe Green wasn't alive then. Definitely seen some film on YouTube. But Jeremy, what do you got to say about it?
I think the part that angers me the most is it ruins the flow of the game. It makes games a lot longer than they need to, and that hurts the NFL at the end of the day. They need games to shorten. They want their games in their 3-hour, 3:15 margin. And I mean, I know that the Eagles and Falcons started in a rain delay, but that game lasted until almost like 12:30 in the morning, and that shouldn't be like that.
There were like 47 incomplete passes.
I mean, and that's also part of it, but there was just so many penalties that would, I think like they said that the ref got more airtime than any of the two teams did because he was shown on camera so often because he had to explain himself and he explained the penalty. And to me, I'm watching football. I'm not here to watch referees. If I wanted to watch referees, I'd watch dodgeball.
You notice like some of these referees, they don't even know how to like say it. It takes them a good minute or two to be able to actually say what the penalty is at this point. So it's ridiculous. So yesterday, the Cleveland Browns began their redemption tour after their 0-16 season had already improved their record from last season with a tie over the Steelers. The Steelers were without Le'Veon Bell yesterday after deciding to hold out to preserve himself from free agency. Jeremy, is this as bizarre as it sounds?
It's frustrating because Le'Veon Bell's player to play football, but he's preserving himself for the future. He's only getting older. He's not getting any younger. I think, look, you're there to play football. There's an actual football game that your team could have used you in that could have helped you win the game. Look, I mean, I know, Jaret, your opinion is different on this. The Steelers win that game yesterday if Le'Veon Bell's there because Le'Veon Bell draws double teams. Le'Veon Bell changes. If Le'Veon Bell's on the field, your defense has to change the way it plays the game. And he wasn't on there yesterday. Yes, James Conner did a fantastic job, and he probably put up the yardage that Le'Veon Bell would have gotten, but that's also because James Conner never got many double teams. And look, the reason why that offense is the most dynamic in the league, or one of the most dynamic offenses in the league, is because they have Le'Veon Bell who can do everything in the backfield, and then you have Antonio Brown who, breaks the cover off the whole offense, and that they can beat you in so many different ways. And with James Conner in there, they can't do that to their full potential. And when you're playing the Cleveland Browns, I know it's the same. It's not the same team. They only have 17 players from last year's final roster, but the Cleveland Browns, that's not a good team. They should maybe win 5 games at most this year. You should not have to lose to them week 1 or tie to them week 1. It's basically a loss. Both teams lose when it's a tie. Let's be real here. None of them won yesterday.
It's really tough to be able to see like a player not be able to play because of just their own reasons, but it's a good reason as well. So like Jaret, what would you say? Being able to secure the bag or playing for your team to be able to actually
if you're not
win a
playing
game?
to win, I don't want you on my team. If you're really more worried about the money you're making, get out. If I'm the Steelers, get him out. I don't need him. James Conner proved yesterday he can do what Bell does, and if Conner does that like 4 more games in a row, he's going to start drawing those double teams. He's going to start getting the attention that he deserves. I mean, I was looking at a statistic before the show. The Steelers' statistics go up in win percentage, points per game, yards per game when Bell is not playing. So the numbers are there. They're a better team without Bell. And everyone's going to say, oh, well, Bell this, Bell that. Ben Roethlisberger sucks. 3 picks against the Cleveland Browns. They turned the ball over 6 times yesterday. That's pathetic. There's no excuse.
That's all work pretty good.
No reason. It's not Bell's fault they lost. It is Big Ben's fault.
It's something that you got to be able to figure out. So, all right, gentlemen, it's about that time to roll up your sleeves and give me the hottest take you have for this upcoming season. What is your bold prediction for 2018? Jaret, quick, let's go.
It's not a bold prediction. It's just Odell's the most overrated player in the NFL.
All right.
Whoa.
That's hot. I got a reaction, Jeremy.
Yeah, I'm going to say the Bucs are going to be in this playoff conversation for a while. They made that change, making their offensive coordinator their play caller. That's not a fluke. Week 1's not a fluke. They're going to be in it for a while. They may not make the playoffs, but they're going to be in a while. They're going to beat the Eagles next week.
No,
that's my bold prediction. The Bucs are beating the Eagles next week.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen, for this debate. I can't wait for the next time to see the two of you up here again. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Now it is time for our weekly night vision. So, yeah, thank you, everyone, for tuning in for this episode of Hitting the Field. This season is going to be special. You know, it was a big handing of the torch to, from people like Jeremy Taché and Meech. It's really important to be able to kind of showcase something that we can really do. There's a great crew of people here. I mean, you've already showcased. We've seen Anthony Abruzzo, Jeremy Brener, Jaret Kappelman. There's some fantastic people here. There's some people that have been here before that are already in new positions from what they were doing. And it's really, it warms my heart that we're able to do something so special. So, guys, what would you say are some of your takes about how the season will go, and what are you excited for?
I'm excited to, I'm excited for the return of Deshaun Watson because as much as I said I'm not a fan of his, and I never have been, he still put up insane numbers last year, and yesterday was kind of a disappointment, but some bumps in the road to get to his form last year. We had, what, 19 touchdowns in 4 to 5 games.
Jaret, what are you excited about this season for the show?
Yeah, I think
For the
show.
show. I'm still on NFL.
No, he's focused.
I'm so
he's really
excited
focused.
about
It's
the
good, dude.
NFL.
Yeah.
It's week
Put that
one.
Hoopers take at the end of the season.
Yeah. All right, let's re-roll that real quick. The season. I'm excited for the new format, the way we're doing it this year. I got the best floor director out here in Kyle Briley, who's, I'm glad to see him back, glad to see all the faces back. Meech welcomed me in here last year, and I'm glad to, keep going with all you guys.
Jeremy, what are you excited for this season?
I think it's about honoring the past, enjoying the present, and preserving the future. I think we got all 3 of those things here. I like what we got in store this season. I think Jess is going to be fantastic when she comes back next week. I think she's going to bring a whole new angle to the show. Not that last year was bad, Kyle Briley, but it's a new show. It's a new show. It's a new show, and that's what's special about this. We're keeping these things fresh. We're keeping these things new. We're going to try new things. We're going to do a whole bunch of different things. We're going to keep you on your toes, and I think that's what is going to be different about Season 7 than any season in the past, is we're going to throw new things at you. We're going to do things in different ways. We're going to keep the facts. We're going to keep checking the facts here. So we're going to keep things traditional, but we're also going to keep it with a twist, and I really am excited about that. Also, Jaret, the Eagles aren't going to win the Super Bowl this year.
You tweeted that last year, and I believe it got dug up after they won the Super Bowl.
Last year was last year. This year is this year.
Last year was last year.
You talked about my Texans, so I got to talk about you.
I mean, the Bucs just destroyed in the first week
We're
of the
literally,
season, so there's literally no reason to think the Eagles can repeat again.
We're winning by 19. We're winning by 19 next week. We're going to be the Buccaneers.
19. That's a very specific.
You realize the
there.
Eagles defense to the Saints defense. The Saints defense don't play defense. Did we see the missed tackle against the Vikings? Did we see the missed tackle against the Vikings?
I don't know, man. So yeah, obviously you can see we got some great personalities here. We're so excited to get everything rolling. We are actually, as well, there's going to be some specials coming up with some episodes. We got some skits planned. We got some games that we're thinking about doing. We're really just going to try to get more involved, maybe even trying to reach out to you guys a little bit more. So we always want to make sure that we are able to do a good job with getting the information out to you guys.
Tweet at us. Tweet questions.
Yeah, guys.
At Hitting the Field.
Thank you for everyone for tuning in, obviously. Make sure to check out our Twitter and Instagram. We always got something to talk about with all you sports fans. Yeah.
Tweet at us. That's like the biggest thing this year. We want to get interactive with you guys. Tweet at us. Facebook.
Ask HTF. Hashtag HTF. Always. I'm running that stuff right now. So shout out to Shay running the Twitter today during the show. Shout out to Tati producing. Shout out to Kyle Graham.
Quick shout out to Jessica Herman, by the way. She wanted me to say this. Tennis needs to change, and Serena literally got stolen. So we'll see you all next week. See you later. Got stolen.
That one too?
I never saw it.
27 dresses. It was those two were always on, back to back.
Always on. Yes. You weren't obsessed?
No.
You didn't feel that?